Welcome back to the Kid Tarot. I don't know what in the world is moving over us today with this energy, but I have done 3 readings, I think, already today, and I just took a quick shower to just kind of settle myself, and I feel much like I'm supposed to be right back here. So, um, let's see where it takes us. I've got my coloring pad. I've got my decks. Isis Oracle deck, a healing spread. Okay. Alright, let me straighten up a little bit here. So, one of the sessions that I did today was particularly heavy. You can go back and see that it has a trigger warning on it. So just be mindful of that. Check the description box before you deep dive. But maybe we're just going to finish by pulling a healing spread for those of you that were affected by the last reading. I want to thank Isis Healing Energy at this time for coming over us. If you guys have been following the Kid Tarot at all, you know that this Isis deck was the first one that I started with, and it's very near and dear to my heart. So the Wing of Isis spread calls for 5 cards. We'll read through the questions for each one, but essentially it's asking us to take a look at an issue, to look at what resources we have that can assist us with it now, and what the spiritual lessons are that we're to take from it. So I'm going to pull the Wing first, and then we'll read through the individual questions. And again, just with the focus on healing for those divine feminine, for those divine masculines who in their youth experienced some abuse, some particularly sexual abuse is what I'm hearing. All right. So again, there's 5 cards being pulled in this reading. I like to start with the middle of the wing and then complete from that direction. So we'll do that. And this is my Isis Oracle deck by Alana Fairchild. Ooh. Okay. It's been a lot of that today. Of cards on the floor. If there are 4, let's see, if there are 4, I may take them, but there were 3. So let's see. I like to try to make sure that I'm not reaching, that I'm pulling. I think it's really interesting that all of these turned with the image face down. I'm curious to see what the storyline is going to look like when we flip over and see the images on this beautiful, beautiful deck of cards. Hope you're taking care of yourself today. A lot of the readings today were about dark things or secrets that are coming to the light. I imagine that can feel very exhausting, just with the collective feeling so much anxiety moving over them today. So just, take care of yourself. That may look like so many different things for so many different people, but maybe a nice walk outside in nature, taking a look at beautiful things, definitely getting next to some healing water. So maybe find a pond or a lake that you can sit by, go see the ocean if you're so blessed to be so close. Music, whatever you do to lift your spirits, do that in a gentle way today. Isis. One more card for the Wings of Isis spread for us, please. I think it's so fitting that back card is Life Restored. I'm excited to get to the end of this reading already. Okay, so let's flip them over. I really do like to see the images on these cards and see the story that they tell, as well as the beautiful words from Isis herself. So I just see a sense of camaraderie and teamwork. She seems so emboldened in these two images here. She's so powerful and sure of herself. But that partnership was still required in this space. I believe that this card reads sisterhood. So maybe, maybe this is about being able to hold space for yourself as well as others. But let's see what Isis has for us. So card number 1 is, what is the real issue for me right now on a spiritual level? And it says, Lady of the Stars. Ceres, and I kid you not, I dreamed about Ceres as a celestial goddess. I think if you go back into one of my previous readings, I even talked about or the fact that I'm not entirely sure if she's reincarnated at this time. But I think it's interesting. It's always fun with the signs and syncs, but just very interesting that was the first card that popped out. I have to go back and see which reading that was, because it was a few months ago. But Sirius is a celestial goddess, a star of unconditional love and wisdom of an extremely high vibration. She brings deep soul awakening, spiritual gifts, and a high capacity for divine service. She asks you to pay attention now, because something significant is taking place at a spiritual level for you at this time. So, we're going through spiritual awakening. There's been a lot of energy, a lot of retrogrades and whatnot moving over us. But just in general, I feel like the light workers that are being spoken to in this collective have truly been on a journey of healing and returning to themselves and awakening to their true self, their true abilities, and their true talents, some of which they've even exhibited in past lives. And so Sirius, the celestial goddess, comes to us now to ask to pay attention, because there are signs and syncs that are being shown to you to help you affirm your belief that what is happening to you is indeed happening to you. Card 2 is, how can I best heal that in my day-to-day life? So how can I best heal this awakening, heal myself to receive these gifts in my real life? And we see Isis here with this beautiful red and orange, pink behind her. And I don't know if you guys are able to still see my sketch pad, maybe if I move it out a little bit. But we talked earlier in the readings about there being just like a fire lit, this image of all of these beautiful red, orange, and yellow tones, and the fact that we are now all being blanketed in that fiery energy, just as it is behind her here. But our perspective is going to tend to how we receive this. Do we feel emboldened and powerful like Isis looks here? Do we feel enveloped and overwhelmed simply because of the way that we're choosing to show up? So how can we best heal this awakening, heal all the anxiety that is coming with this as we move forward in our real life now? And it says portal of light. It is only this physical reality that is bound by time and space. You are a conscious being on levels beyond the physical world. You are guided to work with your healing powers beyond the confines of time and space. You will not become ungrounded through such spiritual work. You are not leaving your earthly connection behind. You're merely adding to it. So you may have been having a feeling lately as if you're straddling two worlds. It's safe for you to explore. You're not going to lose your place here in any way, shape, or form. And you're able to discern who you are from what you're seeing. What would the gift or the outcome of this exploration be? And that's where we saw this sisterhood card. I'll flip that over. Divine sisterhood. Letting the divine feminine nourish you now into new relationships, collaborations, community, and friendships is very wise. So some of you have been feeling a great deal of anxiety. I know I've repeated that several times, but even as good things are coming your way, or even as new people are coming in, you're carrying with you old sentiments of distrust just because of what has happened to you in the past. And it's not that any of that is not valid. It's just simply no longer true for you. You're being lifted out of that old storyline and into something new. There are many souls with whom you have spiritual contracts decided upon before you were born, who wish to help you and whom you can help as you grow together in peace and light and wisdom. So there may be new partnerships, new friendships, new collaborations, new communities that you're moving into that are not by accident. These were divinely orchestrated by yourself and these entities well before your incarnation into this life. And so it's safe for you to trust them. It's safe for you to lean into them. You really want to pay attention to how it makes you feel right now. I know for those of us that have been victimized in our lives, being in touch with our feelings can be extraordinarily difficult to feel seated in your body, to release some of that anxiety, but you're being called to really put forth an effort with that now, and to see to that peace, because these relationships and these agreements are coming in for our assistance, but that doesn't mean that we participate, right? So if we're feeling too standoffish, we may miss an opportunity that we brought into our lives for a purpose. And not to say that it knocks you off your path, because there is no detour in spiritual awakening. Everything is for your highest good and the highest good of all those concerned with you. So don't feel any type of pressure in that sense. It's just asking you to pay attention to that at this time. Card 4 is, what is the biggest challenge and opportunity for me to get the best outcome? And she looks so courageous, so sure, so clear in her purpose, in who she is, and who she's to be. We see her here in more what's the word that I'm looking for? Dramatic came to my mind, but it's a more protective garment that she has on here, very regal, as though she's truly taking charge and leadership of her space. And I don't know if you can really see the details here, but Isis's arm is very, very well defined. I almost want to say masculine. I hesitate to say that because there's always this negative connotation between muscle tone and feminine bodies, as if we're not to be strong, or if we look strong, we're less feminine. That's not the case here. Isis's arm truly feels to me like she's embodying like this masculine energy here, just as much as she's taking on this headdress of this falcon. So she is glistening with all of these energies that she is embodying at this time. We don't need to be one thing, is what I'm hearing. You don't need to be afraid of being one thing. Maybe the changes that are coming about for you right now are asking you to pivot, and that's where all these new friendships and new businesses and new collaborations are coming from, because you actually have to change what you're where you are right now. And so it may feel foreign to you. You may feel as if you do have all of these different things on you or attached to you at this time, but they're gifts for you. You can cycle in and out of them as you see fit. You are in initiation, right? We're talking about Lady Sirius letting us know that we are most definitely in a spiritual awakening. We are definitely awakening to spiritual gifts. We are moving through a portal of light. We're collaborating with those around us to assist us in that journey of initiation. And so it says, when you are being initiated into the divine mysteries of light, love, and power, there are moments of profound challenge. The key is to find the light within the challenge, to find the light within the darkness, right? The opportunity for growth that can transform any challenge into an experience of healing. With compassion and cleverness, you will not burn during your challenges. You will thrive. So where was that image again where she's in that portal of light? We talked about the fire, the flame that was showing up for me in the reading before I started earlier. Now I think we've been reading for like 3 hours now. But you won't be consumed by this flame. You will be emboldened by it. You will thrive in it. It's a new day for you. So let the fear fall away. And that's a challenge, right? This is the biggest challenge for us this time. So what special guidance is there to help resolve this issue in the best way now? I'm just seeing transformation. Life restored. Spiritual resurrection is gifted to you now. Whatever part of you or your life you thought to be dead is being revived and will flourish back into life. Just as the phoenix rises from the fire, transitioning from death into life, so too you will rise again, healed and renewed. So that old soul that we talked about today, there are so many readings today, guys, but that old soul that we talked about was being tortured. It's a mental prison that they're in, and their spiritual gifts are coming online, and that makes them feel a little rocky. But it's healing that is being gifted to you now. It's a deeper connection with your spiritual gifts that are being gifted to you now. So do those things that you feel you need to do in order to take care of yourself, replenish yourself, pour into yourself. Because that flame is around you, that divine light of protection is around you no matter what. So right now, just take the time to go inward and heal. Spiritual awakening doesn't always feel good, right? It can be very scary. It can be very challenging. It can be very draining. I'm just hearing that someone very exhausted. I hear somebody. Maybe you need to do that. Just and release. You don't need to hold that tension that you've been holding for so long. It's been so long, my sweet babies. The reading that we had earlier, it was about issues that had taken place in childhood. And so it's been so long that you have been moving through these energies. But the growth that you have initiated for yourself is a beautiful spiritual growth. So I'm just going to pull one card from this Dreams of Gaia Tarot. I feel very much like the collective that I'm speaking to is immensely connected to Earth energies. I think that's why this Earth Warriors Oracle deck has been my primary source of communication with my spirit guides over the last few weeks. So I'll say again, if you have not made it a habit to get outside, to get into nature, whether it's taking a short hike or, sitting by water, I will highly recommend it to you at this time, because I think there's some significant healing that is being delivered through nature at this time. And this particular group of empaths and light workers, old souls, needs to bathe in it, to simply bathe in it. It's for you. That's what I'm hearing. It's for you, and it's on time, and it's for you. So if you're the type that when you're if you're the type that when you're no, I feel like I should pull another one. That like when you're depressed and sad, you go to your room and you're under your covers and you're crying and you're sad. Your energy is being felt by everyone, and there's a more you're seeking comfort, and there's a more soothing path for you. There's an easier path for you. So maybe pray for that, or however you manifest. But maybe pray for an easier path towards this awakening. Okay, so maybe it was one card. All right. Okay. This butterfly imagery matters to me. I see, obviously we see a balancing of light and dark, right? We see two paths. We see this magician. It feels almost like, to me, it looks very reminiscent of a magician card with their staff lit, made of all nature, surrounded in that. It's protected by that. It's got his statue. You can only imagine that there medicinal properties being held here from the earth. This just as we saw, which image of Isis was it that she had that dual, like there's multiple energies that are moving through this person that they're master of, and really I don't get the sense that they're about to choose a path one way or the other. It's more so almost like they're arriving out of both of these loops. Like they went in and they went through the darkness, they went through the shadows, you can see the stars there, and they went into this deep this deep journey, and they came out in this light side, and those stars are still there. So this is really a representation of the same thing, but from different perspectives, right? This is the universe with the sun and the stars and the moon in the background, but this is it at night, and this is it lit. And so I don't feel a sense of fear or panic about walking down either one. This individual seems extremely prepared for what is coming their way next. So let's see what phrases this deck has for us. Noticing to that brown and green, and that shroud of light on the other side. You seem so confident. All right. So the title of the card, I don't know if you guys can see that, is Journey. And so the key words that came out were experience, character, past, cause and effect, consequences, conditioning, environment, external influence, and providence. And so the phrases that we are seeing here is you're created by your experiences. Right? He's not in spite of, but because of what he's gone through, he's been created by these experiences. Your character is shaped by your past. Your character is shaped by your past. I'm almost feeling like, especially with this Life Restored card, it's hard to feel only negativity about what happened because of who you are. You're such a dynamic person. Your heart is so big. You're so kind. You're so giving. You're so capable. So many people come to you for guidance. So many people come to you for healing. When they walk away from you, they say they feel better. They don't even know why. They just you smile at them or you look at them with kind eyes and they feel instantly healed. You are so powerful. And sometimes it's hard to balance that light and dark, that the fact that every experience that you had led you to who you are today. And does this person seem as though they're done? No, they're on this journey. So maybe they've reached a key point, right? We've reached initiation, but our journey is nowhere near finished. And how powerful is this entity for everything that it's been through? Other key phrases on the journey: the past and its influence, reliving the past and the present. So we talked about that in earlier reading, the fact that a lot of things are bubbling up to the surface. A lot of memories are coming up. Maybe there are things that you have completely and totally pushed to the back of your mind. Something is triggering and they're coming up for you right now. So in the present, you're having to deal with emotions of the past. And I pray what you're finding is that you are now more equipped than you ever were to deal with what came your way. Next phrases are smile over the good and make peace with the bad. Choose quality experiences. Act with reason and purpose. Avoid involvement in unwanted conflict. Create happy memories. Learn from your journey. Don't make your truths a prison. Don't make your truths a prison. And this day is yours to shape. So again, I do feel a lot of magician energy here, and just a sense of what's next is for you to determine. You can go down so many pathways, so many possibilities. If you stay stuck in what was, then it will be, simply because that is what you have willed to be. If you choose to believe in the impossible, and that has been a theme through the readings today, I almost want to pull the Moonology deck one more time to see if that card pops out again. But if you believe in the impossible, which right now is simply believing that you are this entity, that you are going through your spiritual initiation, that you do have so many gifts and blessings that are being afforded to you now, not because you've earned them in some special way, like you went through so many bad things and now they're here, is they were always there for you. You needed to go through those dark times. You needed to walk through those flames to ignite the remembering, to ignite the awakening of these particular gifts that you've wielded before. You've wielded before so many times, Lightworker. So they're definitely there definitely feels like a solidifying that's taking place here, just like a coming together of information that maybe has been poured into you for the last several months, or maybe the last several years, and you're able to look back and put the pieces of these puzzles together. And so it's really a time of upheaval, but upheaval and change don't have to be negative. It can be positioning you into a space of peace, into a space of wholeness, into a space of love, into a space of divine purpose, of feeling very seated, of feeling like you know exactly who you are and what your soul's purpose is and how you want to flow to get there. If you're feeling much like you're not sure about those things, go in. They're there. They're there for you. She's waiting for you. Isis is waiting for you. Peace, light, and love to everyone.